Hello everyone, my name is John, I'm the Geeky Fanboy, and welcome back to Baker Street Reviews, the series where I watch and review all kinds of different Sherlock Holmes adaptations. And this time it turns out that I'm watching something that I actually sort of kind of know, sort of kind of by accident. So in on one of my more recent Baker Street Review videos, there was a comment suggesting some other animation adaptations of Sherlock Holmes, and among those were some anime suggestions. And of course, I love anime, and I'm always curious to watch some new stuff. I also read a lot of manga, and then there was a suggestion there, and it turned out I actually knew that series already because I read the manga and I didn't know that there was an anime adaptation. So what we're talking about is Moriarty the Patriot. Like I said, turns out I actually own this entire series already, and I didn't know there was an anime adaptation based on this manga series I'm reading. So I'm going to tell you a bit about the manga to start off with, so you get my impression on that. So Moriarty the Patriot is actually about Moriarty. So it tells a couple of Sherlock Holmes stories, but mostly like own invention stories from Moriarty's point of view, who in this case is a young, dashing gentleman, as is usually the case with manga, let's be honest. And he is not really born, but becomes a member of this prestigious family. So he has an older brother who is like I'm not quite sure if he's like a lord or something, but you know he's a bit upper class, that sort of thing. And he also has a younger brother as well, who sort of takes care of everything that's happening around the house. And he's sort of the middle child, and he soon or very early on discovers that he is a very smart person who, who's basically the Moriarty as we imagine him to be. You know, he has all these logic, mathematician, planning, evil skills, and he basically comes up not with becoming a consulting detective, but with consulting criminals, sort of what we also know from the BBC version. And what happens is people can basically hire him to come up with a more or less perfect crime, and he basically helps them to organize it and execute it, etc., etc. So this is sort of the general premise of the manga, but of course along the way we also meet a bunch of other characters. We also meet Sherlock, obviously, and Watson as well. Just look at them. Look at my boys. They look absolutely gorgeous. Sherlock has really cool longer hair in this adaptation. I think it suits him really, really well. So we do get adaptations of like classical stories, like for example, we see how Sherlock and Watson sort of meet for the first time and come to live in Baker Street. We also meet other characters like Irene Adler gets a whole storyline, so we get Scandal in Bohemia. But what I like, for example, like, she sticks around. So we have characters like her that usually only appear in one story, but in this case they stick around and get like their own little thing. Or we get characters who basically are almost like only mentioned in the canon, or only have like a very brief appearance. They get this huge expanded story or characterization, like Moran, for example. He's in this manga series as well, and is very much this Moriarty's right hand man who takes care of a lot of business. So I'm not sure how many 9 there. I'm currently on volume number 9. The story is in full swing, and I must say I like this adaptation a lot. First of all, I absolutely love the idea of the premise that we're not focusing on Sherlock and Watson, but that we're focusing on Moriarty and his background story and how he actually came to be this evil genius mastermind, consulting criminal guy. There's a lot going on there. We also see a lot of, how what kind of family he was born into and how he came to be the smart man we know him to be, and how he came into this position of this prestigious family. So we see a lot of that, of course, alongside all of these criminal investigations and crimes he comes up with or gets involved in sometimes as well. And of course, along the way, inevitably he runs into Sherlock Holmes, who early on they sort of recognize each other as very much equals. Like they are not when they first meet, they're of course not truly aware of who they are. But after this sort of first encounter, Moriarty is like, oh, this man might be someone who could become a problem along the way. But I kind of like what he does. He's very interesting. So we see that kind of relationship between these two characters sort of developing. We also occasionally get glimpses at what Holmes and Watson are doing, what kind of cases they're getting involved in, and how these cases are connected to Moriarty and his business and his family. There are a lot of intertextual references in regards to other Sherlock Holmes adaptations. Obviously, there are a bunch of hints, for example, also at the BBC version, for example, but also a couple of other adaptations as well. Obviously, just general Sherlock Holmes references as well. Of course, like just in regards to the canon and the stories. But also other elements. For example, in the current sort of storyline that I'm reading, there's a lot of James Bond influences as well. Like, for example, bit of a spoiler maybe, but it's a cool spoiler. Like Irene gets to stick around, and she takes on this role. She takes on this new role of James Bond. So she becomes a spy, calls herself James Bond, and cross dresses and passes as a man and that sort of thing. Which is a really cool storyline. And of course we have like MI6, MI5, that sort of thing. With spying business and Mycroft is there, and all the Moriarty brother is there. It's really cool. There's a lot of stuff going on there, and it does remind you very like slightly of Black Butler if you read that manga series as well. But it's very much its own thing. It takes a lot of inspiration, obviously, from the original canon, some from some other adaptations, but there's a lot of things on its own. And the art itself, obviously, is very nice. I mean, you already see the covers here; they look absolutely gorgeous. And I think the narratives I've read so far, I think all work mostly work very well. They're all more or less interesting, especially when they pick up stories that you know from the original canon. Like, for example, Study in Scarlet, we get that, how Holmes and Watson met, and Scandal in Bohemia, obviously, as well. So I like that we do get this mixture of, canon and non-canon stuff that the author themselves come up with. So there's a lot to like here. As far as I can tell, the manga series is a lot of fun. I'm still following it. I buy a new volume whenever it comes out. But yeah, I never knew that there was actually an anime series, which I presume is based on the manga, I'm guessing. Like I said, I have not seen any of that. So thanks to the commenter who pointed out that there's actually an anime adaptation based on this. I'm very much looking forward to seeing it. We'll see how many episodes I'm covering in this first video. I might watch more than one episode, since I think they're only like 20 minutes long, minus plus in intro and outro, that sort of thing, which are nice in anime, but they also tend to be kind of long. So we'll get into that, and we'll see how much I enjoy it. So let's go. Hello, quick work from editing John here once again. Copyright is still not my friend, and the copyright people won't allow me to upload any clips of the anime whatsoever. But it's already filmed like last time. I want to show this to you anyway. So once again, the viewing montage is going to be quite literally a montage. You're going to see some screenshots of the anime and me commenting, but you're going to hear the original audio track, because I want to give you an idea of what the anime actually looks like. So you're going to get some screenshots and hear me commenting on the series. So I'll cover the first 3 episodes in case you want to watch along. I also say when each episode starts. So I hope it's still watchable. Just stick with it, and yeah, thank you for watching it anyway. Okay, New York, 1911. This has already not started as I expected it to start.
聞こえなかったのか？
聞こえてたよ。けど今いいとこなんだ。
Oh, is he reading
お前
the
の
stories
本好きに
Watson
も
wrote?
困ったものだな。今度は何を読んでるんだ？
He is...
シャーロック・ホームズか。
Ah, cool! You can get original,
これは
well,
か
original.
の名探偵シャーロッ
Drawings,
ク・
that's
ホームズ
nice.
をすら翻弄した
This is not what you expect Moriarty to look like going from that,
モリアーティ教授の
going
も
from
のだ
that drawing. That's the most baddest introduction Moriarty's ever gotten. It's already so over the top dramatic, I love it. Oh, we've got vampires. Also something I did not expect to see.
嫌な事件ですね、ウィリアム兄さん。ああ
Oh yeah, right, they
少
have
年ばかり
different
を慰め者にし、
they have different
挙句の
first
果てに
names in
惨
this.
殺。
So I think all of them have different first names and they
人間の
all
する
have
こととは
James
思え
as
ま
their
せん。
second name.
手がかりならあるさ。え？この記事の中にね。
Okay, we're starting this off very Holmes-ish, aren't we?
被害者の子供たちとその親の職業を見て、自ら精肉店に足を運ぶことはない。だが、
Okay, so someone is kidnapping together a little servant staff of
乗馬をす
children.
るため厩舎に赴くこと。
I honestly do not remember if this was part of the manga's first storyline because I have not read the first volume in quite a while.
商店の息子なら求めてあちこち探し歩いたんじゃない。自分の生活圏で目にしたものに欲望を募らせたんだ。人を目にしたものが欲しくなる。
This feels like a Silence of the Lambs
二つや三
reference.
つなら偶然。
Okay, this is a bit on the nose. If a coat of arms has like 3 spiders in it.
では、犯人はその窓から。その可能性は高いだろうね。そこは誰の家だったんですか？
But wouldn't he have so many other opportunities to watch him from literally anywhere?
ガストロスクラ
This is like one of those far-fetched actually. I'm like, yeah, I mean, it's a good point, but there are literally so many other
お父さんは
options.
ご存知でしたか？
ブを与えてやれそうだな。
Stop showing me creepy gargoyles. I get it. They're spooky. I'm gonna have nightmares tonight.
大した観察眼だ。まるで探偵ですな。
Huh,
もっ
you
と開
don't
けてみまし
say.
ょうか。今身につけておられる時計は R マスターズ時計店のもの。違いますか？
Now basically Moriarty is like
見
Sherlock
もし
but
ていない階級
evil,
時計
you
が
know?
どこのものかなぜわかる？
Evil.
帽子はモーガンブね。
込み入った注文になりそうなんだが。
かしこまりました。では奥でお伺いしましょう。お前はもう上がっていいよ。
はい。
Albert is so nice. Just look at him. He's adorable.
アーグルトン伯爵、こちらにお越しいただくために。
No, it's fine. We're finally getting to the interesting part. I'm already digging all of the aesthetics of this
ど
scene.
うしても。
ご無沙汰してお
I
りま
love
す。伯爵。
the highlighting on the eyes in this. Looks really, really cool. Spooky.
イーデンさん。あなたの
The organ music is so good. It's so dramatic. I love it.
歪んだ世界では犯罪にカテゴライズされてしまうものです。
Do it. Stab him. Stab him in the chest.
急いでください。タバコ1本分しか待てませんよ。
Handsome anime boys smoking is always a good aesthetic. I like that we're not even getting an explanation for what the evil guy did, and they're sort of teasing that the vampire thing in the beginning, but no, forget about it. He was just evil, and now he
イー
got
デンさん。
stabbed to death.
さあ。
Okay, so that was episode 1. Yeah, we're gonna move on to episode 2. Let's just go.
19世紀末産業革命による混乱と発展の中イギリスは着実に植民地を広げ世界原に古くからこの土地に根付く階級制度それは人を区別する強固な境界であり
I feel like we might get Moriarty's background story in this episode. Because it all has to do with like class and orphanage stuff. You know, your classic Victorian background story. Oh, we're getting proper intro this time. And it's so over the top dramatic as I hoped it would be. There he is, the man, the myth, the legend. Look at them running. Ooh. Oh, nice visual. Right, that's from the cover. That looked good. That looked very good. 1866, so it is probably backstory, isn't it? Oh, there he is. Baby Moriarty. Oh, he's adorable. And no one looks at this and thinks, yeah, 3 spiders and a coat of arms seems good. What I kind of like about this is trying to sort of point out, if, you know, this could go one way or the other way. He could very easily become someone like Sherlock Holmes, but because he's different, he becomes Moriarty, goes more for the crime thing. The Victorian class system proves to be, once again, absolute bollocks. It's the original William, isn't it? Yeah. Maybe we see how Moriarty took his place in the family in this episode. Oh, original William is a wanker. Well, that's good to know, because I know what happens to him later. I would go even further back, okay. See, kids, that's what happens when you read your books. You become a criminal mastermind. I love the fact that the upper class is just being nice occasionally just because that's what expected. Not because they want to, just because it's like a rule that occasionally you have to be nice, just because. Because why else would you do it? I think this very much shows how the series tries to paint Moriarty more as an anti-hero rather than just the straight-up villain like you used to when you normally get him in the books or other adaptations. Kill them all! Okay, that was a joke. That was clearly a joke, but yeah, sure, let's go with it. Bloody twat! God, I'm so happy I know what happens to him. I like that Moriarty is sort of almost like a Robin Hood sort of figure for, like, especially the lower class people in the story. Oh, it seems like we're gonna go too far for backstory. This outro is surprisingly colorful. What are they painting? I want to see what they're painting. Oh, that looks nice. So pretty. Oh, Reichenbach full. I saw that. And for once, it actually looks like real life Reichenbach falls and not like some big gigantic waterfall stream like in every other adaptation. Okay, here we go. Episode 3. I'm gonna finish that backstory. God, don't you just hate the upper class?
素晴らしいですわ、モリアーティ様。孤児を2人も引き取られたのですね。
速やかに手術は受けさせます。
Why do I feel like this is only like bragging entertainment for these people? They're like, oh, you have so much money, you help an orphan live somewhere. Oh, very good, very nice, congratulations. Oh God, these people suck. Just look at him. Just look at William. Just look at him and think he's an upper class twit. He has the perfect face for that. Whoa! Okay. There's being a douche, and then there's being a sadistic bastard. Don't do it, Louis. Don't do it. Oh no! Don't discipline anyone, please. This man cannot be entrusted with cutlery.
アルバート様はどうして僕たちをこの家に招いたのでしょう。貴族の義務だからでしょうか。
Yes.
僕の病への同情だからでしょう
No.
か。確かにあの方は僕たちを助けてくださいました。ならば下民なんかと話したりしないよ。だってあいつらドブネズミみたいなんだもん。薄汚いし。
Okay, we get it. You hate poor lower class people. We get it. You're an awful, horrible upper class twit family. We get it.
羨望の目で上を見上げ、嘲笑の目で下を見下す。
Oh, welcome to Victorian society.
後で死体を移動する手間が省けるというものです。
死体？何言って？
なるほど。
Oh, now we're talking.
それを僕たちの部屋に。
Now we're talking. Now we're having the murder talk.
墨の濡れ衣を着せて追い出せる。
人間はこの世界にいらない。
Yeah, child murder. Woo! Oh yeah, twisted. Don't you just love it when anime gets super dark out of almost nowhere? You know, the red eyes really do help sell this whole evil shtick.
最も大事なのはこれが事件だと誰にも普及して間がないためかガス漏れでの火災はここロンドンではしばしば起きています。故に不幸だがままある事故として片付けられる可能性が非常に高い。
Can you imagine? This used to happen on like maybe an occasional basis, but probably more than once per year. Just like randomly in London, a freaking house exploding out of bloody nowhere. Oh.
アルバート・ジェームズ・モリアーティ、そしてその弟ウィリアムとルイスです。
And that's how that whole story went down. Okay, and welcome back. So yeah, those were the first 3 episodes of Moriarty the Patriot, the anime. This is basically just, you know, the very first couple of chapters of the very first volume of the manga. I'm really just telling you the basic background story. The first episode sort of serves as a general premise, showing you, okay, here, this is what we're doing with Moriarty, and then it sort of jumps back, showing you what his actual background story is, which I think is a good idea. I like what they're doing with it. It's basically exactly the same as it is in the manga, and I like this idea of, you know, picking up this problem with the class system in Victorian England and sort of positioning Moriarty in that so that he gets a very understandable motivation for why he's doing the things he's doing as he grows up. Since there's not a whole lot we know about Moriarty as a character, we're not given much in the canon, and normally you would maybe sort of expect him to be upper class himself, since he's a professor of mathematics and all that. So you would guess he has very good education, maybe even came from a good household, that sort of thing. And this adaptation sort of takes up this idea, but gives it a bit of a twist, saying, okay, yeah, he is growing up in this upper class family, but this is not actually where he was born into, which is why he has this sense of justice, especially when it comes to the poor people and the lower classes, which I like. And you basically see all of that come to fruition in these first couple of episodes. So I can't really say too much about it, since it's very much the same as it is in the manga. It's really just the background story so far. So I might actually do follow-up episodes to this and cover some of the other episodes of the anime as well, since I know that Sherlock and Watson, at least in the manga, also turn up at some point. So I would assume, since they're also in the anime opening, etc., that they also show up in the anime at some point. So I might cover some of the other episodes as well, so we can also judge what Holmes is like in this adaptation. Also because I kind of want to know if the anime tells a whole different story and picks up some different cases, or if it roughly tells the same story as the manga. Because I do like the storyline in the manga, and how Holmes and Moriarty meet and so on. But we all know sometimes anime does like its own little thing and comes up with a bit of a different storyline, which I would be interested in seeing. It's not like I don't like the storyline in the manga, but it's always nice to see something different. Of course, it's always a bit different to actually see the animation and not just read it on the page in the manga. But as far as I can judge from like an animation style, it's fine. It's nothing outstanding. We do get a lot of moments like with them just standing and the lips moving and they're talking, that sort of thing. It's pretty much standard. But it looks nice enough. It picks up the style from the manga pretty well, I think. The more horror-esque scenes, I think, work really, really well in the anime. Like the color coding was a lot more different, like with the focus on the eyes, which works really well, especially since Moriarty has like red eyes and blonde hair, which is a great contrast, I think, which also works really, really well in the manga with a few color pages to get in there. So I would definitely be interested in seeing what they do with the anime, and definitely also what they do in the manga, since I already told you in the beginning of this video, they have an interesting mixture of canon things and stuff the writers and the mangaka come up with themselves, which I think is very good in there. And I do like the exploration of the characters as the manga goes on, since we not only explore Moriarty and the rest of his family, but we also see other characters that we know from the canon, like I said, like Irene Adler or Sebastian Moran, which I think is really, really cool. I do hope that the anime sort of picks that up as well and focuses not only on, the crimes that Moriarty consults, or plans out, which naturally is, of course, an important part of his character, but I do hope that, just like the manga, it also focuses a bit more on the actual, characterization, especially of Moriarty and also of Holmes. And I will also be curious to see if they add some more background story stuff, since I know that in the manga you do get a couple more flashbacks to Moriarty's past as well, especially like in the last volume I read. You see like a case he basically took on when he was still a child, and sort of challenged the upper class himself, and you get sort of Shakespeare references in there as well. So there are a lot of different things coming together in this series, and since the anime so far from the first couple of episodes is basically exactly like the manga, just with a bit more detail, I guess, which animation style allows you. But so far I can say I like it. It's pretty much the same as the manga, so naturally I like it since I'm reading the manga. So if you're interested in me covering the other episodes, or maybe the manga or something else, if there's any other kind of adaptation, whatever it is, do tell me down in the comments below. Of course, I always welcome new suggestions for Sherlock Holmes adaptations, or whatever else you would like me to talk about. So yeah, that's it for this episode of Baker Street Reviews. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't done it already, and I'll see all of you next time. Goodbye.